Welcome to the Becoming Confident podcast, journey to building healthy self-esteem, the place where I initiate raw conversations on topics I believe contributes to and is impacted by self-esteem and confidence. If you are on a journey or you're ready to start your journey to becoming confident and you feel alone in the process, then this podcast is for you. I am your host, Cleopatra Williams, and I can't wait to support you in becoming your most confident self. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. It is the world's largest online therapy platform service. See, I know how important it is when you're on your becoming confident journey to prioritize your mental health. Back in April 2022 is when I started BetterHelp. I was falling apart and I was ready to just give up. However, I knew that giving up wasn't an option. What I absolutely love about BetterHelp is that I was able to choose a woman of color and someone who was faith-based. Both super important to me. They found me a licensed therapist within 24 hours, and I've been rocking with her ever since. Now, did I mention that it's 100% online? Yeah, we love that, right? So, if you are ready to make your mental health a priority on your becoming confident journey, BetterHelp is giving you 15% off your first month when you sign up using my link that will be placed in the show notes, and you can just enter my code Cleopatra Williams, or you can just go ahead to betterhelp.com/Cleopatra Williams. I hope this helps you guys. Welcome back to another episode of Becoming Confident, Journey to Building Healthy Self-Esteem with me, Cleopatra. In this episode, I will be discussing my journey with therapy. I thought it would be awesome to share that experience. I've tried therapy a few different times and I've had different experiences. This is for you, especially if you are thinking about starting therapy, or if you tried therapy and maybe you haven't had the best of experiences. So let's get started. My first time in therapy, I was 19 years old. I just moved back to New York after finishing up my second year of college in South Carolina, where I was living at the time. And I tried to transfer to a new school. However, I was considered out of state, which meant that I would have to pay out of state tuition. And that was going to be way more expensive than I thought. I had no loan. I had no financial aid to cover the whole thing. So technically, I wasn't able to go to school. And if you are first generation, right, one of the first people to go to college in your family, you know how important it is to go to school, right? They stress college a lot. So I was extremely upset. I felt embarrassed. I felt a lot of shame for not being in school. But the thing is, there was nothing I could do about it. So I started to look for jobs, but I was really having a hard time looking for work. I went on multiple interviews and I didn't get the job. You know, like we deal with rejection that comes with the territory when you're looking for jobs. However, it was really taking a hit to my self-esteem. I was thinking that I wasn't getting a job because maybe I wasn't attractive enough, or my skin color maybe wasn't the right skin color from the job, or maybe my name was too black. You know, a lot of the things that goes into your head when you don't get a job. So I was just spiraling into a hot mess on top of the other things that I would be battling. Just being in New York and going out, I wasn't really doing things that was serving me well at all. So on top of that and not getting a job, like I was just feeling completely worthless. I reached out to my mom and I'm crying and everything. And she brought up the idea of therapy to me, which is something I've thought about before. I just didn't know how to find it. Of course, like I was 19 years old. This is new to me. And I was really excited to try it because I thought, okay, like I want to fix me. I thought therapy was all about fixing you. So when I tried to go for the first time, I immediately hated it. You know, therapy begins with what brings you here. And I started telling her I'm struggling with loving myself. I hate myself. I hate everything about me. And she's like, yeah. So that's not really an issue. Like, what else is going on? And I immediately feel dismissed. Like there was no empathy whatsoever. So the only thing I can think of was something that happened to me in the previous year that was pretty much traumatizing. However, I worked through that. I feel like I don't feel like it was bothering me as much. But when I brought it up, she was like, okay, now that's something we can work with. And that's not really what I went in there for. And so she's like, okay, so we're going to diagnose you with depression. Your insurance is going to be able to cover that. And I'm just like, what? Lady, no. She's like, we're going to prescribe you some medication, which I don't think there's anything wrong with medication. But she didn't really get the time to really get to know me. Like, she put that on me just so that my insurance can cover. And that was my first experience. And I never went back. I was like, no way. So I had a really bad experience my first time in therapy, and it was not great. So my note to you is, if this is your first time, it might not be the best, but that is okay because we're going to get into a little bit more. So now let's get into my second experience in therapy, or should I say just counseling. I was in my senior year in college, and we all know, if you have been in college, senioritis is a real thing. I was so disconnected from school. I was going through a lot. My relationship had ended. Ended with someone that I loved very much. I was in a dark place from that. I was rebounding, which, isn't necessarily the healthiest thing. I was dating two guys. One treated me like shit. The other one treated me okay. It just didn't work out. And on top of that, like, I'm a single mom and I'm struggling as a mother because I really wasn't ready financially and emotionally. And I'm going to school full time, right? And I'm working part time. And I'm realizing now that I don't want to do anything with what I'm studying. I went to school for criminology, and I realized, like, throughout the year, I don't want to do this. Like, none of this excites me whatsoever. So I felt like I was just like going through life. And so I really didn't want to be here anymore. I was so down. I just felt so empty. When I'm in school, I would do absolutely nothing. I would just show up to class. I wouldn't participate. I would just be that person just staring at the wall in every class. And I had a few teachers ask me, is everything okay? But nobody really stressed it. They just said, you just don't seem like yourself. But my peer counseling teacher finally, after a few weeks of seeing me completely like a robot, told me to come see her after class. She said she couldn't take it anymore. And the minute I sat in her chair, I literally broke down in tears. I knew exactly what she wanted. She's a therapist herself. I broke down just telling her how sad I was and how I hated living. And she immediately found another school counselor for me because she couldn't counsel me herself because she knows me. And let me tell you, her saying something probably really saved my life at that time, right? And the counselor that I had, oh my gosh, I loved her so much. To this day, I'd be like, I do not remember her name, but I will never forget her because she made me feel so special. Like, it was amazing. She was so dope. She was a white lady, which the only reason why I'm mentioning, the race is because it does play a role in counseling and therapy, which I am going to touch on. And because she was white, I did feel like there was a few things that I kept to myself, like self-hate stuff, because I didn't feel like she can relate. I didn't cover every single thing, but I did speak to her about my relationship issues. She really helped me heal with that, helping me learn how to move on. She was just a really great listener and didn't make me feel crazy like I thought people would make me feel, right? She didn't make me feel like what I was feeling was not valid, like the previous therapist that I had. And I love that. And I think it's so important just to have somebody that you can talk to kind of get you through these things. And I believe me being able to talk to her, that helped me overcome a lot of the issues that I was having. Now, the thing is that it was only a few months because I did graduate, so this is a note for you. If you are in college and you have access to counselors at your school, They are free. They are available. However, once you graduate, once you go on summer break, that is it. So take full advantage. I highly recommend them. And also, these schools have peer counselors as well. I was in a peer counselor program, and I was also learning how to speak with people, how to actively listen to people. So if you just need someone to speak to, especially that you feel like can relate to you, they have those. If they have those at your school, that is amazing. Just ask. I am so excited to announce that I am a Queen Warrior Ambassador. This lifestyle program, led by Fabiana Ferrini, is all about helping women become a better version of themselves mentally and physically, and I absolutely love it. It has everything from fitness workouts, with Bar and Power being my absolute fave, to mindset coaching and nutrition plans. Ladies, you will not be disappointed. This program hosts live workouts, and they also have replays available for busy bees and moms like me that are on a tight schedule, and you can do it all in the comfort of your home. So, if you are on your journey to confidence and building healthy self-esteem, and fitness is a huge part of that for you, I was set up with a special link just for you. You will get a 7-day free trial to the Queen Warrior program. If you want to take full advantage of this offer, head over to the show notes where I will attach the link, and I hope to see you guys in there. Now, let me get into my last experience with therapy. I mentioned in my very first episode why I started this journey and how I was going through a whole bunch of anxiety. I was having suicidal thoughts, and I knew that I needed to get my mental health under control. My mental health was extremely important, and I needed something immediately. So I started looking for therapy again, in which I found BetterHelp, which is the online platform that I use even now to this day. And like I said, I got my counselor, my therapist, in 24 hours, and I've been rocking with her ever since. And it was important for me this time to find a person of color, because I knew that there was things that I wanted to touch on that I don't think I would have been comfortable touching on with someone else like I had before. So there's nothing wrong with having therapists of different races, I would say depending on what you need to talk about. And I knew that there was a lot of things that I really needed to discuss. And so I knew that I wanted a person of color this time. And I'm so happy I did, because this is how I am comfortable speaking my truth today. And what I absolutely love about this experience is that this is the first experience where I can have virtual therapy, which has been a major game changer. The other ones I had to be in person, and this time it is more convenient for me, and I can be in the comfort of my own home, which I absolutely love. And I've been loving it. And so what I've been learning now in therapy is how to be more confident with asserting my needs and setting boundaries and listening to my feelings and defining my values and my worth, rephrasing the way that I see things, helping me learn how to be more forgiving and compassionate to myself, and helping me differentiate my values from other people's values. And that has been a huge factor in giving me the confidence to trust myself and my decisions. However, this is a journey, right? So I did have setbacks. I do have setbacks, but we moving forward. This is the whole reason for a journey, is that you have to keep pushing forward. And my self-esteem in the past 9 months that I've been working with my therapist has been like a 360. I'm not perfect. However, I've seen so much growth, and it hasn't even been a full year. I can't wait to see how it is when it is a full year. I can't wait to see when there's another year. I love it. And my thing is that my first experience with therapy really sucked. And I could have gave up. I could have said, you know what, this is how all therapists are. Like, all they want to do is just be out here for money. They don't care about you. And I could have let that stop me. I'm so happy that I did. And I gave it another shot, and I gave it another shot, and it just kept getting better, better, and better. So do not give up. If you are ready to start therapy, give it a shot. Do not feel threatened by other people's experiences. Maybe they tell you they had bad experiences. Don't listen to that, because your experience is your experience. Or if you have tried it and you've had one bad time, or even if you had 2 or 3 bad times, you do not quit. You still keep pushing forward, because it is possible to find a therapist that is for you. And that is another thing that I love about the platform that I use, is because they give you the option to switch therapists if you don't like them. If you don't feel like your therapist is a fit, you can request a new one, and you can request a new one, right? With no hassle. And that's something that I'd never had before. That's why I never really had therapists back to back, is because when I was done with one and I would go searching online to find one, it is so hard to just find a therapist. It takes forever. So that's another thing that I love about this platform, and I recommend it. I recommend it to anyone. So now that I've experienced therapy a few short times, I do have some tips that I want to give you. And it's only 6 tips, is not too much. So take note. Number 1 would be, take note of what you want to talk about throughout the week, depending on if you have weekly sessions or if you have bi-weekly sessions, or however, take note of the things that you want to discuss. That may be some things that had came up throughout the weeks that, is bothering you. Because the thing is, sometimes when you come to the session, sometimes you forget what has happened throughout the week, because so many things take place that you can forget. Even if it was something maybe not so great, you probably forgot about it, or it's probably not registering to you right in that moment. You kind of missed the opportunity to talk about it. So it's really important to write it down, because you also don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste your time, because you are paying for something to get help for, and you want to get all the experience you want to get. So you don't want to show up not knowing what to talk about. Sometimes that's okay, but most of the time you want to have something that you want to touch on. And if you're anything like me, I've done this before. Oftentimes it can make you feel like you made a mistake. You can be hard on yourself, like, dang, how can I forget? How can I waste my time? How can I waste my money? I've been there, and it doesn't feel good. So that is my number 1 tip. Number 2 is, be disciplined and treat therapy like a priority. Your mental health is a priority on your journey, and you should prioritize it just like you would do anything else. Sometimes you're gonna not feel like talking. Trust me, I've been there. There's many times I don't feel like talking. But if it is a priority to you to help you achieve your goals and your confidence and your self-esteem, you have to be disciplined. Don't cancel, and show up on time unless you really have to. Give it all you got. Number 3, remember that it is a process, it is a journey, and nothing happens overnight. So do not beat yourself up for any setbacks. Do not beat yourself up if it's not progressing as fast as you want to. Some people progress faster than others, and that's okay. Remember that this is your journey. Tip 4, communicate with your therapist. If you don't like something that they're doing, assert your concerns. This is a 2-way conversation. This is a 2-way session. You also have the right to address your therapist if you need to. And step 5 will be, change therapists. Like I said, if you don't like your therapist, there are more out there, especially if you use BetterHelp. However, you have to find the best fit for you. In step 6, be proud, like cheer yourself on for going to therapy. There's a lot of people that have not taken the investment in themselves. There's a lot of people who are scared to try therapy. There's a lot of people who frown upon getting help. So be proud that you are investing in yourself, investing in your mental health, making you a priority, and you are taking the steps to better yourself, because there's a lot of people that won't do this. And remember that if you want to have things that a lot of people don't have, then you have to do things that a lot of people won't do. Always remember that. And that is all for this episode. I hope that these tips helped you. I hope that me sharing this journey, my therapy journey with you also helped you in your starting therapy, or if you're in the process of therapy and you just need a little bit more hope to keep going, I hope this helps you. As a disclaimer, I hope with anything that has been shared in this episode, no one takes anything personally. Please be compassionate and know that being vulnerable is not easy. If you are on a becoming confident journey or you're ready to start your journey, always remember that this is a journey, not a race. I know that we all want to get to the finish line, but it takes time and dedication. And if you don't stop, you will get there. Cheers to becoming your most confident self. Thank you so much for listening to Becoming Confident, Journey to Building Healthy Self-Esteem podcast with me, your host, Cleopatra Williams. If you want to be the first to know of new episode releases, of new resources, and get some weekly dose of inspiration, subscribe to my weekly newsletter. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok, both at __Cleopatra__. And shoot me a DM. I would love to know your thoughts on this episode. While you're at it, go ahead and follow Becoming Confidence page at Becoming Confident Journey on Instagram. And lastly, tell a friend, sister, cousin, mother, someone who you think can relate to the show. I'm leaving all information in the show notes. Kindly support the show by subscribing on any platform you listen to and also rate and review on Apple Podcasts. And that is all for this episode. Until next time, okay? Bye.